This is the 2026 Mercedes-Benz CLE 300. Is it the ultimate coupe? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today we borrowed this CLE from our friends at Mercedes-Benz of Shreveport. If you want to know more, check out the link down in the description of the video. First of all, when we look at the overall design here, it looks very racy, very sporty. It may not be the most powerful vehicle on the road, but that might fool a lot of people. Let's talk about what you're going to find here on the front end. When it comes to your headlights, everything here is LED. Now, I do have the turn signal indicator on the other side. We'll look at that in just a second. But you have your LED daytime running lights, LED headlights, a very nice design here as far as what we have. We're going to see the design right here inside of the headlight housing that mimics what we see in the interior as well. Things kind of just matching up. I like that. Now, we're going to find the gloss surround here. Gloss black, not too much. I like that. The gloss black surround right here with this particular area that actually does serve a purpose. Now, we don't have the active vents right here, but what we do have is in this area, the air hits the front end and comes around like this. There are active air curtains. That's going to help you out a little bit with your MPGs. Also, we're going to find, you can see one of them right here, but there are multiple sensors on and around this CLE that allow for all of those great safety features to be in use. Your classic look here with the grille. As far as the front end goes, your Mercedes-Benz logo, we're also going to have our front camera right here. Cameras on and around everywhere you look, so you can see from every potential angle. And like I mentioned, we'll work our way around here to this side. There's that turn signal indicator that's also going to be LED, full LED lighting everywhere you look. Now, as we work our way here to the side, this is a 4MATIC model, so it's going to be all-wheel drive. That means great handling. We're going to have the 20-inch AMG multi-spoke wheels right here. That's going to look nice. It does have a nice glossy finish to it, but not too much. Now, as we work our way up, turn signal indicators built into the side view mirrors. Everything you want is going to be here. They're heated, they're power adjustable, and they're also going to be power folding. We work our way down the side here. We're going to have the combination of body color and a little bit of chrome with the door handles. For those of you that are not big fans of chrome, there isn't very much here. Panoramic sunroof, it will tilt and slide open depending on what you want. There is a shade that can be drawn back and forth, and more of those lines right here that give this such an aggressive, sporty look to it. I like that. You do have your spoiler back here on the trunk. We're also going to have our LED tail lights, the CLE 300 logo, and 4MATIC right there. That way everybody knows you have all-wheel drive. And there are multiple ways you can gain access to your cargo space. There's the button on the remote, a button on the interior, and you can push the Mercedes-Benz logo right there to gain access to your 11.2 cubic feet worth of cargo capacity. Actually quite a bit of space in there for those road trips. You can put quite a bit of luggage in there, groceries, whatever it is. Now, for those of you that don't want a high horsepower Mercedes-Benz, this really is a great option. You have the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with mild hybrid technology, 255 horsepower and 295 pounds-feet of torque. 0 to 60 in 6.2 seconds. Top speed, 130 miles per hour. Made it to a 9-speed automatic transmission. How about your MPGs? 24 city, 33 highway, 27 combined. 3.7 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And we're going to work our way around here, and I'm going to give you some information you don't normally hear in these videos. What is that going to be? We're going to come back here to the gas tank. That is a 17.1 gallon gas tank. And it does not have capless fuel fill for those of you that don't like that. And how about miles on a single tank of gas? 418 miles in the city, 574 miles out on the highway. Now, one thing to consider with that, just like with your MPGs, those numbers are estimated. They're not guaranteed. That means you might be below or you might be above. Now, if you're looking through the comments section and you see somebody that says, "What's the price?" tell them to watch the video, because I'm giving the price. It's $73,295. So let's see what else you get for that price. Now, here is the control right here, this little strip right here for the sunroof. So if I want to open the power shade, I can just swipe back like you saw right there, that will open that up. And then, like I said, it does tilt and slide open. It does have some tint, so if you want to leave that open and just not open the sunroof itself, you don't have to do that. So we're going to close that back up. All of your other controls here on the upper console, you can see some ambient lighting around that. You can turn the lights on and off. All that good stuff is going to be here. And as we work our way down, you can see with the air conditioning vents that there is ambient lighting inside of those vents, a total of 64 different colors. I'll show you more about that in just a few seconds or a minute or two on the screen. And we have, remember what I told you with that design of the headlights? Here's something similar to that, like I said, here in the interior on the dash area, and you can see more of the ambient lighting throughout the interior. It's actually in the front and rear seating area. Over there on the passenger side door, you've got the control for seat memory, heated seats, and in the shape of a seat, if you haven't noticed that before, are the seat controls. The only thing on the side of the seat is actually lumbar support. We do have the nice large armrest and door bends, so quite a bit going on there. We're also going to have our glove box right here. I never find any gloves in there. I wish I could today because it's cold outside, but I didn't bring any gloves with me. But let me grab the camera real quick, and that way I can show you what's going on here on the driver's side a little bit easier. There's everything again for seat memory and your seat control position, all of that. Everything for controlling your side view mirrors. And you can open and close the power windows right there. Here is the button for opening and closing that power trunk I told you about earlier in the video. Everything right here for your headlights. You can just set that to auto if you want to, and you're good to go. Power parking brake is down here. And this control right here is for adjusting your tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel that is heated, by the way. Now, we have the shifter paddles on the back of the steering wheel, allow you to gear your way back and forth through that 9-speed automatic transmission. Shifter right here, and over here on the left hand side, that mysterious lever that is a multitasker. Not only can you control your windshield wipers here, but guess what? It's also the turn signal lever that lets people around you know what you're doing before you actually make the move to the right, to the left. Whatever you're doing, merging into traffic, imagine letting people know what you're doing before you do it. That actually works pretty well, and it's not as hard to do as you think. Now, steering wheel mounted controls. We can control everything on the center screen right here. If I want to work my way back and forth, depending on what I want to do, I can do that. If I want to go home, I can do that. Now, on the left-hand side, however, if you don't like what we have as far as the driver's display goes, let me back up a little bit so you can see this. We're going to push the home button right here and bring up everything for the different display options. So depending on what you want to do, you can make a few changes here. If you want to go to, let me get that right, go right here to navigation and have navigation on the driver's display, guess what? You can do that. There's quite a few different options here. It just depends on your personal preference, how you want things to look. We're going to go over here to Sport. Get right here. Let's get to it. Let's see if I can keep from going to the wrong place here. There we go. So we'll go back to Sport. That's my favorite, if you didn't know. And everything for your cruise control will be right here. And answering and hanging up on phone calls, all that good stuff is here. Now, you do have the MBUX here, Mercedes-Benz user experience, that works through the screen right here. So you can say things such as, "Hey, Mercedes,
how can I help?
What is the current temperature outside?"
Online voice control is required for the service. Check the relevant settings for that.
Well, that didn't work quite well, but you get the idea. Now, let's go through the screen. Here's what we have. Obviously, navigation, again, you can bring that up on the entirety of the screen if you want to. You can use voice commands as far as that goes and set that up. Get all kinds of information. You can wirelessly pair your smartphone if you want to. You do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Everything for your radio right there. Media, MB apps, Mercedes Me, that's going to be there. Obviously, everything for the dash cam. There is a built-in dash cam here. I can't show you anything because I don't have any way to actually store any of that information, the media, the videos, but I do have a video on how all of that works. Now, if we go to comfort right here, let's just take a quick look at what's here. I talked about the ambient lighting earlier. There is the 64. So you know you have your 64 different colors. So you had to have a couple of different options here as far as that goes. You've got your singular colors right here, or you can go to multicolor if you want to. So depending on how you want things to look, you're not going to be able to see this most likely. Even as nice and overcast as it is today, it's going to be a little harder to see that, but you can get the idea of how this works. However, we do have the blue right there that seems to show up the best in all situations. We can go to effects right there depending on how we want things to work. With climate, what's going to happen is when I change it, it would actually be red or blue on either side. With the lighting, I don't think you'll be able to see that if I do that here today, but let's see. Probably not going to show up the way I want it to, but we can also go in here and adjust brightness. So if it's too bright for you, obviously you can dim that down a little bit when you're driving after dark. And then we're going to go back here and come over here. We've got info. That's going to give you all the information as far as accelerator. It's going to let you know how much accelerator you're using, what's the percentage of brake pressure you're using. I've got it to 100% as you can see. And we come back here and we go to settings. A lot going on here. You've got assistance. I'm just going to run through this real fast. I promise not to cover it in too much detail, but you've got assistance. You can see all of your different features that are going to be here. We can go to vehicle right here. And here's one of the things, you can come here to also work on things such as ambient lighting. That's going to be right there. You can see it down here, ambient lighting. You've got your interior and exterior lighting. So depending on what is or isn't working, if you want to turn it on or off, such as your locator lights, if they aren't working, you can do that. And you can actually see what is and isn't on the screen. If I can get that to work for me right there. See, there you go. The locator lights are now off. Now they're back on, just to show you a little bit of what is here. System, a lot going on there with displays, language, and then you can go to apps. You can see what's there. Not a whole lot going on there. And then info. And one thing I really like about this is that you have these really nice graphics that go with everything. If you need to know your legal information, you can go right there. License information. One thing I wanted to show you is you can go into reverse to bring up your cameras, or you can come right down here to this button. I'm going to push that and the camera comes up. So depending on what you want to see, you can do that. Or like I said, we can go into reverse and then we can see the rear view. We can see the front view. I showed you that front view camera earlier. Or we can have this view. We can also take our finger and just work our way around depending on what we want to see, where we want to see, in case you were curious about that. Now when we push the button with the vehicle on it right there, here's what comes up. You've got quite a few different things going on. There is a nice bright head-up display here. If you want to turn that off, you can. If it's not on, but you know it's there, you can obviously come here and turn it back on. That's when you have that little red bar at the top there that's going to highlight and let you know what is on and what is not. Some of the other features that are here, like I say, we're not going to cover everything in great detail, but there it is. Now you can use the Mercedes-Benz voice commands to adjust your temperature and all of that right here, but everything is within the screen. So if I want to adjust that, I can do that. We can sync those sides together, or they can be adjusted individually. We have our front and rear window defoggers. All of that's here. Hazard light button, everything for turning and managing your radio on and off, and then we can mute that if we want to, just like that, or adjust the volume. You can also do that with voice commands. And right here, I'm going to do this real fast. You have the cover with the piano black finish. Don't play the piano on that. It'll be all fingerprinted up. But what's underneath that? Concealed away is number one right here. You can't see it real well, but that is your wireless charging pad. A couple of USB ports. We're going to have our cup holders right here. A little bit of storage. And then as we work our way back here, I'm going to open these Bombay doors with the button right there. There is your console space and another USB port. Now you might notice I hadn't said much about the back seat. There is a back seat here, but very small. Not a lot of space. There are air conditioning vents back there, cup holders, all of that's there, but not a very big area, that's for sure. But one thing I will say, there's a decent amount of space here in the front seat, and we're going to get out on the road and enjoy that on our test drive. All right, here we go on our test drive. Great handling characteristics, that's for sure. And while you may not have a ridiculous amount of horsepower at 255, it's more than enough to get down the road as quickly as you need to. and get up to speed when you need to do so. But it's a real great car for just cruising, taking a nice long road trip, be nice and comfortable, at least here in the front seat. The seats are very comfortable, nice bolstering, at least for me. It seems to work very well. And you do have the steering assist. The steering is very precise, very, very responsive to the touch, nice and tight. I like that. And you really feel like you're in more of a high-performance vehicle than you really are. But the good thing is you're not necessarily paying a high-performance price. I know $73,295 is a decent amount of money, but when you think about what you would have to pay for the AMG version, it definitely jumps up on these vehicles as far as what Mercedes-Benz offers. It just depends on what you want to spend. But nice and easy to drive, easy to see out of. I like that. We're going to have the nice tight turning radius here. Make our quick turn here real quick and get on it a little bit. Not too much, because one of you might be buying this. We don't want to get on it too hard before it's broken in. But I think you might be surprised at how well it accelerates. It does a good job. And the technology here, while it may look challenging to learn and use, it's not. Number one, it's just easy to learn and use. Number two, if you have any questions, something you want to know about, you're likely to find a tutorial video right here on YouTube to give you the information you need. Nice comfortable steering wheel. The brake and the gas pedal are easy to adjust to and very responsive. You don't have overly aggressive braking. I like that. And the gas pedal works very well, very responsive to the touch of your foot with that mild hybrid technology. You get down the road, no turbo lag, no issues where that's concerned. Overall, it's a lot of fun to drive, easy technology to learn. Quite a bit of space here in the front seat. I will say the back seat is rather small. I didn't get back there, but I can tell you just by looking at it, it is pretty small. Great for the kids, not so much for the adults. And there it is, the 2026 Mercedes-Benz CLE 300. Tell me what you think about this coupe. Definitely a lot of fun to drive, a lot of great features. For those of you that don't want tons of horsepower under the hood, it has enough to have a good time, but maybe not so much that you can get yourself in trouble. At least I know I would. Tell me what you think down in the comments section. I would like to say a special thanks to my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Shreveport for loaning me this CLE for the day so I could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. That's very helpful to me. Make sure to subscribe and share this video on your timelines on social media. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now. There's 2 of them that you can choose from, and I'll see you there.